Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Money Bagger Show, NFL Week 13. Week 13 already. It's crazy. All right, let's go over the sponsors real quick. StatBets. Team over at StatBets drops some of the best CLB plays in the business. You can get full access into the Discord for as little as $100 today. Head over to statbets.com and start winning this weekend. Player Profit. Ever wanted to place a big bet but didn't have the funds? Well, Player Profit allows sports bettors to do just that. Pass their 2 challenges on playerprofit.com and get funded up to $100,000. It's really that simple. Prove you are a successful sports bettor by passing the challenges, and you can bet completely funded. You keep 70% of everything you make off those challenges. Head to playerprofit.com to get started. Use code GGS for 10% off any package. The code is available multiple times. So if you don't pass your first test, no worries. You can try again using code GGS for 10% off. All right, guys, let's hop right into this. Week 13. Next week's Thanksgiving already. Crazy how
It's
time
week
is
12.
flying by. Is it week 12?
Yep.
Oof, it is week 12. All right, week 12. Still flying by. Like I said, next week's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Crazy how we have basically, we know the good teams from the bad teams. We know the great teams from the good teams. I'd say this year's kind of down in terms of great teams. I think it's more of a mixed bag in terms of from the top to the middle. But that's not terrible. It's still NFL. We're still going to watch it, and we got some good games this week. So let's hop into the first one, which could be a sneaky good game, Shane. And the Lions and the Colts here in Indy. Only reason why I'm suspect of it not being a good game is because it's in a dome, and we know Jared Goff loves a dome. But what do you think about this game, Shane?
It got changed a little bit because the Lions got a couple corners ruled out, but Anthony Richardson still can't really throw the football, in my opinion, so I'm not that concerned about that. They're obviously going to look to run the ball like crazy, and the Lions are great at stopping the run. The Lions are as hot as any team could be right now in the league. I can't go against the Lions right now.
Yeah, it's tough for me to pick against this team. I mean, what we've seen the last couple of weeks in terms of just offensive put out, and then Branch on that defense, man, just is playing like one hell of a player, and he's really been the leader on this defense when they had these injuries pop up. Dan Campbell has his team motivated. Like I said, Jared Goff in a dome. It's tough for me to pick an upset here with him in the dome. I think he struggles more when he's outside, more of a Green Bay territory, or if he plays in the AFC, like a Pittsburgh. That's where he get a loss. Right, they're just playing too good right now and too efficient to pull an upset right here for Indy. I think Richardson's still too raw. If it was Flacco, maybe they have a chance just because of the veteran experience. But I think Richardson's going to turn the ball a couple times today and make some costly mistakes. I have this game Detroit -7, and in my opinion, Indy is not playing terrible. This is a neutral. If this is a neutral game, I have it closer to like a 8 or 9 point game. I give some advantage to a home field here for Indy. But like I said, Detroit is just playing too good on offense. I don't think Indy can keep up with this team right now. And also, like Shane said, the run game's gonna be hard to manage for Indy today. So I lean the points. I lean laying the points here with Detroit. Not in love with it with the 7.5. Like I said, I have this team by 7. Another play could be your team total for Detroit if you want to lay the points. Like I said, Jared Goff in a dome usually good for at least 4 touchdowns in the game. So, yeah. All right. Next one, we're going to go to Carolina here. The Chiefs are giving Carolina 7.5 points on the road in Carolina today. Another kind of gross game of a slate. A lot of 1 o'clock gross games. Not too many predicted to be close in this 1 o'clock slate, which is okay, I guess. I make this line 8. So right in the button here for me in terms of value, not much here. Carolina still not a good team at all. Bottom 3 in the league in terms of just overall efficiency. But we have seen this Kansas City team struggle to put teams away. And not saying this is going to be anything close, but I think we could see a little backdoor cover here with Carolina at home. Overall, the Chiefs have just not covered big spreads in the past. So
I think Bryce Young is this is gonna be Bryce Young Sam Darnold game where like Sam Darnold like saw ghosts against the Patriots. This is Bryce Young's version of this. This Chiefs team I think is just gonna completely destroy him. Chris Jones is gonna be like living in the backfield. I think after a loss, Kansas City looks to like make a statement, and they might try to like really lay it on to like a really bad team. I mean, we saw like the Raiders kept it close to them, but it's also like division stuff. I've kind of brushed that off. But this Panthers team is just abysmal. I don't know how they're going to be able to like score really, because they're really good at stopping the run, and Chuba Hubbard's not going to be able to do a whole lot. So Bryce Young's not going to like pass for 250, 300 against this Chiefs team. I think the Chiefs blow their fucking backs out. That's about it.
Yeah, I can see the under here. I mean, it's not a huge spread, which I lean more towards unders with. But like Shane said, I don't see this Carolina team putting up too many points today. I think it's gonna be a tough spot for them to run the ball. You're gonna make Bryce Young drop back, 25, 30 times in this game. And I think this is a recipe for disaster. Pass rush wise, it's a really good pass rush with Spags. He's in a third down blitz him, third and long blitz him all the time, the whole game today. I don't think that O-line's ready for any of that. So it's tough for me to take the points here with this team, even though, Chiefs in the past haven't covered these big numbers, but this Carolina team is just historically bad on offense. So especially if Chuba's not around for this game, meaning not productive with how good the run defense is, I think this is a recipe for disaster for Carolina today. So I would take the under as my best bet in this one, just because of Casey's defense against this Carolina team. All right. We're going to head to Shane's Giants team. I don't have a number with this one just because of the quarterback situation. Obviously, with the news of Daniel Jones first being dropped to QB4, with Tommy DeVito going from QB3 to QB1 in a matter of a couple of days, which is interesting. And then playing scout safety on the scout team and then being cut. So interesting week for the Giants franchise and fans, I could say. Tommy DeVito back in at QB1. Tommy Colcuts, I think it's more for a fan base reaction type of play there. It's not for a franchise productivity standpoint at all. But I don't have enough data on Tommy to give a number here. So kind of hard for me to pick this Giants team with the points. This line's jumped from 5.5 to 6.5 down this morning. So I got to lean Tampa Bay here with Mike Evans coming back.
Yeah, no, I'm going Tampa Bay here. The Giants are fully throwing it in the bin. Tommy DeVito's the starter because they just want the fans to be excited about something. And they seem to get behind Tommy Cutlets last year. I will not pick the Giants for the rest of the year except for when they play the Cowboys next week in Thanksgiving, because you just know how crazy it's going to be. Oh, Tommy Cutlets on Thanksgiving. We want cutlets, not turkey, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this Giants team is just shit canning the season. I think it's pretty obvious. They're saying Brian Dable's coaching for his life right now. I don't think he's going anywhere. Mike Evans back for the Bucks. I think the Bucks are just going to be able to run all over the Giants. Giants can't stop the run.
Yep.
I mean, both teams are off a bye, but the Bucks are getting extra healthy off the bye, getting their best weapon, and they've been able to compete in games without him. Now that they have him back, and they're going to try to make a push for this division that Atlanta can't pull away from. Yeah, I'll take Tampa here.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, tough situation to take. What are you betting on New York? Are you just betting on the Tommy DeVito show? What is your backing here for taking New York? It's tough for me. Not much to go off of, obviously, with Tommy. But there's not much really to help him with, right? The run game's not good. The O-line's banged up again, or still not many weapons in the outside for him to throw to. He's going into an offense which, like 3 days to prepare against a veteran defense who is like third in sacks, I think. So tough spot for Tommy. I feel for the dude. He's at least the game's at home. He'll get some fans behind him, but it's just a bad spot. Bad area for Tommy. Bad area for the Giants in general. Just a sad season. All right, another kind of like gross game. Like I said, these 1:00 games are not too interesting. Titans at the Texans. Divisional matchup here for Tennessee and Houston. I think this game is 7. Like I said, we've said this all year that the Texans are probably one of the most overrated teams in football right now, but they play in probably the easiest division right now in terms of football in the AFC South. Tennessee on defense is just horrendous. One of the worst right now in terms of just allowing points and yards at the same time. So it's a bad mix there. Houston with their big play offense I think is gonna fucking kill this team today. Excuse my French. But Nico and Joe Mixon, Tank Dell, I think they have a day in terms of just putting up points overall. Just because they're so explosive. Like one play, 70 yards in a dome at home, divisional game. I think Houston riles this team up and gets a decent win here.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to like make a bet on this just because it's division rival. Titans have been looking good at least the past couple weeks since Will Levis has been back. They arguably could have had last week against the Vikings, but the Vikings got like every flag called like in their favor, which kind of killed the Titans. Texans haven't looked good, but historically have been really good against the Titans. 6-1 ATS in their last 7. Will Levis actually 0-5 straight up in ATS in divisional games, yet to win a divisional game or cover. I'm not a fan of this Texans team, so like I can't pick them, but like I also can't pick the Titans because the Titans have been absolute dog shit the whole year.
Yeah.
I think if anything, you may want to look to like the over because I think the Texans might be able to rally on points. L'Jarius Sneed put on IR for the Titans, so their best corner is not there. Yeah, if I was going to take anything here, it's the over.
Yeah. Like I said, this Houston team is just not good at all in terms of just overall efficiency in terms of offense and defense, and it's just tough for me to pick a team that allows just these plays to happen. They're good on offense at sometimes, but then they get these third down plays, which they're good at. I think they're the number 1 team in the league in third and long. They put the ball in TJ's hand, but the coaching wise, just sometimes just being out coached in these matchups. We saw it in the Detroit game with having a huge lead at half and then making no adjustments, expecting Dan Campbell to make no adjustments heading into second half, and he just got Nico got out coached. Don't think it happens today. I think Callahan is still in a tough spot in terms of learning the team and having his pieces in that team. So I think out coach is a problem here today, but I just think it's surprising how underperforming this team has been. Yes, they've had injuries, but every team has injuries right now. NFL is filled with injuries right now, so that's not really an excuse either. You still have 20 weapons, still have Nico, Joe Mixon, Tank Dell. Mechie's playing good now too as a wide receiver 3. So it's just tough for me to see this team play this bad sometimes on offense. It's just really weird. Mm-hmm. All right, another divisional game, another just not good game at all. Dallas comes into Washington with season's over for them. Obviously, Washington playing for a division title and a playoff spot here. I have this game Washington by 9, so right in the money there for a 10-point game. More comes down for me for this Dallas defense. I think Washington's just too fast. Dallas is right up there with Tennessee in just terms of explosive plays given up. They lead the league in QB runs allowed, touchdowns allowed, so good spot for Daniels here. I I don't know how this defense stops the Washington team. In terms of the run game, Brian Robinson's been really solid the last couple weeks since coming back. And then Daniels just throwing on this team should be no problem. Obviously, you'll have Diggs on Terry, but Zach Ertz is playing well now. Zach Ertz is playing like he's back in Philly. He's still got plenty of weapons in the run game too to dice up this Dallas team today.
The Dan Quinn revenge game, the first one of the year. Yeah, the Cowboys have no fucking shot this game. I'm just gonna keep it blunt.
Keep it a buck.
Cooper Rush had like 300 something passing yards the last game, and let's get really excited. Well, when you drop back close to like 60 times and you're down like 20 something the whole game, that's probably gonna happen. Empty calories. Yeah, I think Dan Quinn makes a statement against the team he used to beef with. A bunch of the guys that he brought over were from this Cowboys defense. There's not really much else to say because the Cowboys are another team just kind of throwing in the towel. And their schedule doesn't get any easier. They maybe win 1 to 2 games for the rest of the year because I know they have the Giants and the Panthers on schedule.
Yeah.
But Washington should be able to cakewalk them. I've seen a popular bet is Brian Robinson 2 touchdowns. I think it's like a plus like 400 or something. I don't know if I would personally do that because I think the Commanders will probably play around with stuff. They like to mix in like Jeremy McNichols.
Mm-hmm.
You got Eckler. Jaden Daniels can run it in. So there's always the threat of somebody vulturing a second touchdown from B-Rob, but it's just fade the Cowboys. They're on the all-fade team right now.
Yeah, I think B-Rob was a good game. I mean, Brian Robinson at the goal line has been him and Daniels all year, and it should be an easy matchup for them today. I think the Cowboys are just too slow right now in defense, too old. Eric Kendricks I've seen get beat more times than not this year, and I know he's been a great player in the past with Zimmer, but he's just lost probably 2 steps in terms of just quickness. And him being your Cadillac on your defense is just not proving to be a good mix. So the fast paced offense, the speed for Washington, it's just like I said, a good matchup for them, and I see them putting up plenty of points there to cover this 10.5. All right, the Patriots take on the Dolphins today. Another divisional matchup. The Dolphins laying 7.5 at home. This line has stayed between 7.5 and 7 most weeks. You can still get some 7s. Caesar's now at 7. DraftKings still at 7.5, but this line stayed right around 7.5. I lean the Patriots here. And this isn't me being a bias because I've been biased all year, so why would I start now? But just in terms of just how New England's playing on offense with Drake May. They've stayed in games. They're passing the ball real well. And this Miami defense is just proven to me that they can't stop the pass in terms of just overall throughout the game. It's just been tough. The pass rush hasn't been there for Miami with injury. So I'm not worried about too much for the O-line here for New England. Drake May coming in as a 7-point dog. He'll use that as motivation. This will be a first free play of mine, official free play. It's going to be New England plus the 7.5. I'd get it before it drops to 7. Looks like it's dropping to 7 in most places now. But you still get it at DraftKings 7.5 at minus 115. Yeah, I like the points here with New England. Divisional matchup, like I said. New England's played these teams, tough past couple weeks. So yeah, I lean Drake May here.
This is a line I probably wouldn't touch because I could just easily see a Patriots like backdoor cover in this spot. Miami looks kind of like its old self. I mean, Tyreek Hill still's not like we haven't seen like a Tyreek Hill game since week 1, and Tua's been back for 3 weeks now. This is going to be the 4th week. I mean, historically, the Dolphins have had the Patriots number as of late, but the Patriots teams haven't been as good as they are right now or have like an actual decent quarterback. Drake May is just showing that he can move the ball down the field in some capacity, and he's facing a not so good defense. The over-under in this game was like 46.5, 47. I think that's a little too high for this divisional game. So if I was going to take something, it would be the under. I don't really see a whole lot of points, like that many points being scored. I could maybe see like a 24-20 game or something along those lines, not hitting that 47 number.
What is Drake May's prop at right now?
For passing, I'm assuming it's probably like 205. That would probably be my guess. Hold on, I will pull up Fanatics real quick.
Similar matchup last week with this Dolphins team, right, playing at home against Vegas. They're 6.5, 7-point favorites at home. Raiders playing from behind most of the game, and Minshew passed for 282, 30 of 43, 282, 2 touchdowns. So I mean, it could be a recipe for good here for Drake in terms of just overall passing.
It's about like 215, 220.
That's pretty good.
Depending on where you look.
And if you look at the Patriots the last couple of games, I dove into this now, I'm interested in it. Last 4 games, 2 at home, 2 on the road. They're 2-2 straight up. I'm pretty sure they're 4-0 ATS, if not mistaken, unless the Rams were a smaller spread because they're at home.
It was 4.5.
Yeah, they lost that one. So 3-1 ATS last 4, all as dogs. So winning 2 of those outright. They won by 3 against the Jets, lost by 3 to Tennessee in overtime, which they should have won. Beat the doors off the Bears and lost the Rams by 6. So they're keeping in these games against, a playoff team in the Rams. Chicago is a borderline playoff team. The Jets and Tennessee are disasters, but Miami's a disaster too, I think, just in terms of productivity. I mean, defense is just not good for them right now. I think Drake May has a game, 250, 2 touchdowns. Maybe he runs 1 and 2. I don't know. This team is interesting with Drake May. I'm not saying they're anything good, but with Drake May, they can at least move the ball on the field a little bit. So I like the Pats here. I like Drake May to have a decent game. All right. Another divisional matchup. The Vikings taking on the Bears. This line has jumped all over the place, even this morning, too. Let's see here. Opened at 4.5, dropped down to 3.5, now down to 3 at most places. The Bears are like one of those teams that, what are we going to get each week? It's do we lose the locker room? Do we have the locker room? Do we fire the head coach? Do we not fire the head coach? It's kind of a disaster over there in Chicago, but they're still playing tough. Williams is getting better each week, I think. I had this game Minnesota by 2. So the 4.5, there was a lot of value for me. I just didn't take it. I took Chicago last week. I think I got lucky there. But Minnesota is just one of those teams that's just falling off more and more and more as weeks go by. I don't think it's just overall regression in terms of talent. But again, a divisional game in Chicago in the cold weather, anything can happen, I think, in this game.
I'm leaning the Minnesota side just for the fact I think this is a bad matchup for Caleb.
Yeah, you said that before. You're right. Yep.
So he's going to get blitzed out of his mind by Brian Flores. And I know in college we saw him with Caleb Williams. Oh, he gets out the pocket. Oh, he can make all these great throws on the run. Blah, yada, yada. Everybody's his speed now, or if not faster. This isn't USC playing against UCLA anymore.
Yeah.
So I think these guys are going to be, and the Bears' offensive line hasn't been the greatest the past few weeks or the season in general. So I think the pressure might get to him. We might see some rookie mistakes against a well-coached defense. I'm not a fan of Sam Darnold. I don't really like siding with the Vikings here right now. I think their offense can do enough against this Bears defense. I think the Bears are just going to be solely focused. Let's get Justin Jefferson out of the equation. Slap Jalen Johnson on him, who's been a dog this year. And then if they beat us with Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, and Hawkinson, then so be it. But I think they do just enough to win. I think I had it as like a 4-point game when I did my full-on thing. So it's like it's teetering. 23-19. I like the over in this game is only at like 39. I like the over in here because I think at least one of these teams or both these teams could realistically put up like 20 though. Like the Bears can rip off a play or their defense can make a play on Darnold. We've seen Darnold come back down to earth the past few weeks, even against the Titans last week, whose defense like is probably pretty comparable to the Bears. Like both defenses are playing fine, except they do give up big plays, both of them.
Yeah.
And Caleb cannot handle pressure at all. Teams with a sack percentage of 2% or higher, he's 1-6 straight up and scored less than 20 in 6 of 7 games. And the Vikings have a pressure rate of 5.5. So they are well above the threshold.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule here. When do they win again in Chicago? Is it today at home against Minnesota? Is it Thanksgiving Day at Detroit? Is it at San Francisco at Brock Purdy back? Is it at Minnesota in Week 15? Is it versus Detroit in Week 16? Like, holy smokes. This team could lose 9 in a row. Is it versus Seattle at home? Is it at Green Bay on the road? Like, this team could lose out. What a tough road down the stretch for this team. So they got to kick off some wins someplace. I don't think it's in Detroit. I doubt it's going to be in San Francisco. So it could be today. Hey, it could be today. You never know. So, yeah, I'm only the points here, unfortunately. Give me the 3.5 before it drops to 3 here. Still at 3.5 on Superbook and Caesars. So yeah, I'll take the points here. Just for some good discussion if this thing takes off. All right. Another divisional matchup. Browns at the Packers.
At the Raiders.
At the Raiders. Wow. This line has moved too. This line has dropped a little bit. Opened around 4.5. It's got all the way up to 6. Now back to 5.5. Pretty much everywhere besides South Point. Taking the Raiders, Shane. Taking the Raiders, and not in love with it at all. I have Denver here by 4. Probably a field goal game, 3-4 points. I just think the Raiders offense is bad, right? It's not bad. It's not great, but I think it's a little bit underrated, and I think it's the usage of Brock Bowers is becoming pretty big for them. Shame on me for not looking at how good Denver is in defending opposing tight ends, but Brock Bowers has been a machine for Minshew. Like I said last week, Minshew 30 of 22, 30 for 42 in terms of passing last week against the Dolphins. These divisional matchups are so tough because something wonky is gonna happen in a couple of them, right? So I lean Raiders here with the points. Again, not in love with it. It's not an official play. It's a free play for me. Second official free play of the show. But yeah, I'll take Vegas plus the points at home.
Well, we're matching here. I'm also on the Raiders this game. Broncos have been one of the true underdog stories of the year. Them and the Commanders are probably the main two. Nobody expected these teams to do anything, and now they're both vying for a playoff spot. Bo Nix has been great on the road this season. I know I'm just saying everything that goes against what we're going with here, but I mean, them being 5.5, 6 point home divisional dogs against the Broncos team who just they just beat the brakes off the Falcons last week, so this could be a little letdown spot after last week. And the Raiders showed some life last week against the Dolphins. And I feel like the Dolphins and Broncos are similar levels of teams because what the Dolphins lack in defense, they make up for with their offense because they've been able to score. Broncos offense has been hot as of late, but like over the year, middle of the pack. But then their defense is really good. I'm gonna take. I think 6 is too many points with the Raiders at home. That's about it.
Yeah, divisional matchups. Bo Nix on the road. Has played good on the road, but I just think the points here are the right play down the stretch. I think Vegas is going to have a chance to win this game. and it just depends on if Minshew can get done or not. But I'll take the points here with the 5.5, 6. All right. Supposed to be game of the week, and then Brock Purdy decided to get hurt, and now this game's kind of out the window here. This is one of my plays for Discord, so I won't speak on this too much. Actually, you know what? I can speak on it because the line has moved so much that we can talk about it. We got Green Bay on the money line at minus 115 last Monday. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. That's why you bet early, ladies and gentlemen. Brock Purdy goes out, and this line is now pushing 6 points. Hell yeah. So we're on Green Bay money line minus 115. I have this team by 2 with Purdy. I mean, now you're pushing. The number is probably right about right now without Purdy. You got Braden Allen playing on short notice. I think George Kittle is going to be out today, Shane?
I would think that he's playing. I don't think there's anything that says he isn't playing.
They're still banged up in terms of just overall being healthy.
Yeah, they have Brandon Allen at quarterback. That's about it.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning on CMC a lot today. I think Packers are ready for it at home in the tundra. It's not going to be too cold today, but it's not going to be warm, at all. This Niners team is just falling apart, and it's sad to see because, like I said, the Niners are one of the 43 and sunny today. Green Bay not too bad, but like Niners are one of those teams where when the team's good, it's better for the NFL. And when they're competitive, it's cool for the NFL. Big fan base. One of the main teams in the NFL, obviously going into this year. But they've just fallen apart, and this just doesn't help their cause at all. So we have Green Bay in the money line for the 5.5 points. I've seen it get up to 6 now, so I probably still lean Green Bay a little bit there at 5.5. But yeah, I think just a bad spot for San Fran.
There's just no shot I'm taking the Niners without Brock Purdy, without Nick Bosa. I like the Packers even before then, and now you're getting rid of their starting quarterback and their best player on their team. So I will gladly go with the Green Bay at home.
Yeah. All right. My second VIP play of the day. I won't speak too much on this one because the line is right on the same as when we got it. Arizona leading the division. I don't think most could say they thought that heading into this year. Like I said, because of just San Fran still there. But yeah, leading the division. Playing good football. Defense has really stepped up this year. And they're coming in on a 4-game win streak, coming off 2 back-to-back home wins versus Chicago and New York. They beat the Chargers, which is turning out to be a huge win for them as well. They beat San Fran with Purdy, with that team right around fully healthy. They beat the Rams. So they've beaten some pretty good teams, Shane, as we head into Week 12 here against the division opponent in Seattle. Kyler Murray's pretty good as a dog. Geno Smith has been struggling a little bit at home with the turnovers. But Seattle's pretty desperate here. What do you think?
I can't pick against this Cardinals team right now. They're just too hot. I know the bye could be seen as a bad thing based on where they had it because it was during their hot streak. But if Seattle's home field advantage was what it used to be, then I would have had no problem taking the Seahawks here. But they have actually been the worst team ATS since like 2022 at home. I think they're like 8-15 ATS at home since then, which for a team with a quote home field advantage, the 12th man, it's not really showing. Geno Smith has been bad at home covering. I think he's like 3-10 since last season, covering ATS at home. I think the Cardinals, again, this run game is just a bit strong. You have James Conner, Kyler Murray can run. They're mixing in Trey Benson a little bit more, the rookie out of Florida State. They get DeMarcado available in some stuff. He has a solid wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride working over the middle.
Yep.
This team's a lot better than what people thought, and it's mainly their defense is like clicked into another gear. Gannon figured out something. because stuff's working. So the Cardinals getting points here. I will go with them here.
Yeah. In terms of just the Seahawks, one last note I'll make before we move on. They just have been playing good football. I mean, since the 3-0 start, they're 2-5, lost 7. They've lost 4 straight at home to the Giants, to San Fran, to Buffalo, and to LA. Good win last week versus San Fran. But again, just San Fran just isn't playing well. So the last 2 wins have been at Atlanta, solid win. At San Fran, decent win. And then they beat Miami without Tua. So, like I said, since week 4, since the week 3 win at Miami or versus Miami without Tua, 2-5 heading to this one. They play Arizona this week, at New York next week, at Arizona the week after that, versus Green Bay, versus Minnesota. So tough down the stretch move for Seattle. So they're going to start getting desperate here. I think it's an interesting game heading into today in terms of divisional matchups. All right, another good game, I think. Sunday Night Football, Eagles with the Rams. Should be pretty decent. 2 offenses clicking now with getting fully healthy, even though Devonta Smith has been ruled out. But he hasn't been too much of a factor this year. I don't know what's going on with his targets, but hasn't been what we thought he would be this year in terms of just productivity. But they're still clicking. Saquon has something to do with that as well. I had this game Philly by 3. Right at the money here with the spread. At 2.5, 3 at some parts. I think look at this team. This game is somewhat desperate when it comes down to the stretch in terms of games. What team needs this game more? And I think it's the home team here. The Rams have won 4 of the last 5, coming off a road cover in New England. Tough loss against Miami at home 2 weeks ago, which should have put them at 5 straight wins. But Philly, man. I count this team out, after week 4, and they said shut the fuck up. They've won 6 straight. Haven't played too many good teams. Right, this is the first really good team they played besides Washington last week. They beat Cleveland, they beat the Giants, they beat the Bengals, beat Jacksonville, beat Dallas, and those 5 before Washington. So not much really to go off of there. But they have Rams this week. They're in Baltimore next week, so back-to-back tough road games. I think they get one of them, and it's probably going to be this one, I think. The Rams defense here, I think, is going to struggle against this fast-paced, fast-moving, running offense with Philly, with Hurts and Saquon. But yeah, I like Philly here.
I was flirting with the Rams so bad this game.
You dirty boy.
But I can't do it. Matthew Stafford's 3-14 straight up as an underdog since the Super Bowl run.
Wow.
And one of those is this year when they played the Vikings in primetime. I picked the Rams to win that game. I'm not going to pick them to win this game. I think Saquon might have a field day against this Rams defense. Yeah. A.J. Brown's going to get his, obviously. Jalen Hurts is going to be able to run for a little bit. I just think matchup-wise is bad for the Rams. That they'll be good against the teams that have mid to low tier offenses, and then not be able to keep up with probably the high end offenses. We kind of saw that with the Dolphins when they last played. A good offense that can move the ball, they can't really keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots made it a game last week, and no offense, their offense isn't that great. They're throwing to Kayshon Boutte and Hunter Henry. Now they got to deal with A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon. So I'll be taking the road team here with the Eagles before they play the Ravens next week.
Yeah, I think it's a much-needed win for them this week in preparation for in Baltimore next week, and we're going to hop right into this game too. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Chargers Monday Night Football. 2 good primetime games. I think it's the first time I have 3 good primetime games. Cleveland against Pittsburgh Thursday Night Football was tremendous. Philly, LA should be a pretty good game, and then you cap it off with Baltimore at the Chargers, two of the, creme de la creme so far this year in terms of productivity. Chargers is Harbaugh just kicking ass and taking names. They've won 4 straight, 5 of the last 6. The problem is, like, who have they played, right? Like, what's their test? Their wins come against the Raiders, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Saints, Browns, Titans, and Bengals, right? So not too many good teams there. They've lost to the 3 playoff teams they faced. They've lost to Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Arizona. Baltimore, on the other hand, they're kind of like, it's just like so streaky for them, right? They come in against Pittsburgh, lose that game 18-16. Everyone's like, oh, what happened to Lamar? What's going on with Lamar? Everyone overreacts, and then Lamar comes out and watch him whoop the fucking Chargers' ass. I'm not saying it's going to happen because I have a play in this game. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'll let Shane speak on this one.
This is another game where I thought I was going to go one way, but I ended up going the other. I thought I would be with the Chargers because they've been hot, but the level of competition they played to go on this win streak, I kind of can't have them going against a playoff caliber team and do that. Lamar in prime time after a loss, I can't really go against that. John Harbaugh 2-0 against Jim Harbaugh. If anybody cares about the Harbaugh Bowl stats, I think the Chargers will be actually a popular pick this week based off of like underdog, just because of how well they've been playing against people in general. Over under in this game's at 51.
Yeah.
I will take the under in that instance. I know the Ravens have a bad defense. Chargers have been figuring stuff out in the passing game. And then the Ravens offense is just going to score for the most part. With Derrick Henry and Lamar controlling things. But I think matchup-wise, this could be a concern for the Chargers because we saw the Cardinals run all over them. And this could be a similar thing where the Ravens run all over them.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally, if I'm taking a side, I wouldn't go against Lamar in the spot. But could go either way. That's why the line's 2.5.
Mm-hmm. I think, and this is me just speaking out of my ass here, you got two home, like I said, 2 great games, and Sunday football, Monday football, 2 home teams getting around 2.5, 3 points. I think one of those team wins, right, in terms of the home dog there. I think one wins. I don't think both win because you'll see three primetime home dogs with the outright win. I see that kind of strange, but I think one of them win in terms of just home dogs there. And it'd be interesting to see how both games pan out. It should be 2 great games to wrap up Week 12 as we head into Week 13 for Thanksgiving week. Shane, any sneaky fantasy spots this week?
I mean, if you're looking for people that could have high upside, any of the mid-level receivers in the Chargers-Ravens game, like if you see Josh Palmer and you need somebody to start with all the bye weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good game against this Ravens secondary. Any of the Packers wide receivers, I think you play against the Niners secondary that isn't that great. We saw Geno still be able to throw against them. Like DK had a game, JSN had a game. Let me just do a quick scroll of everything else. I think if you still have Calvin Ridley, you have to play him against this Texans defense that can't allow big plays. Will Levis isn't afraid to throw the ball down the field. I would probably bench Raheem Mostert if anybody's has forced into playing him because he's just getting more and more phased out. It's just becoming the A-chain show. I think you'd start some of the Giants wide receivers. Like if you have Wandale or Slayton, I think they're worth a start against Tampa's secondary. I think Tommy DeVito tries to throw the ball against them because they're not going to be able to really run against the Bucs. Any Commanders receivers play against the Cowboys. That's about it.
How you doing in terms of props for NFL this year, Shane?
We're hitting at about a 60% clip. Actually, one of the lines for one of our 3 plays for today, I took last night, and then overnight it's gone up over 5 yards.
Really?
Yes. For a non-quarterback play, it's gone up over 5 yards already.
Okay.
So if you got on that play early, you're at a bit of an advantage right now.
Awesome. In terms of straight plays over here, we are heading into week 12, 23, 16, and 1, hitting right around 59%. That's all the model plays I give out in Discord, up around 10.3 units. That's risking about 2 units per play. So nothing crazy, no 5-unit plays, no 10-unit plays. Risking to win about 2% of the bankroll back every play, up about 10.3 units. That's an ROI about 11.6%. That's pretty good there. Model's spitting out pretty good games here. We've profited in 6 of the last 7 weeks. We hit Cleveland Thursday night at plus 3.5. Got that outright win. Last week we went 3-1. So yeah, doing the model's kicking ass as we head into the late season, which it usually does. The more data we get, the more the more spreads are getting more prime in terms of overall correct stats. We start to see the good teams from the bad teams. So yeah, it's working out pretty well for us. 3 games this week. If you guys want them, hit me up on Twitter at GoGet'em_sports. Hit Shane up at Shane's Picks. We can get you into the StatBets Discord today, starting right now, and get you in for the NFL Sunday picks. Shane's got 3 props plus an NBA prop, so 4 props total. I got 3 straight plays, 2 today, 1 tomorrow night for Monday Night Football, and what you guys rolling? Rolling. So, all right, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you guys next week. We'll be on before Thanksgiving, so we'll talk to you before then. Later.